Is it okay?
Guess what came to backwards compatibility, Nick? Your favorite
I
game.
don't know when it did. I checked before. It wasn't on here before, but now it is.
Load. Well, it took a while, but if this thing will ever frickin' load,
it takes a while for some reason. It might be the recording set. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Take-Two Interactive. What else has Take-Two done? That sounds so familiar.
Take-Two is the people that are in charge of a shit ton of stuff.
There it is, by the way.
They're basically the parent company of a lot of the like NBA 2K games or just 2K games in general is what you're going to probably be familiar with. They're in charge of XCOM. They're in charge of Civilization.
Before 2K went down the deep dark path.
They're in charge of Grand Theft Auto. I mean, they're in charge of a shit ton.
But that's EA's fault, really. Ave Hail Kaiser.
Yeah, Goozer.
Hail Goozer.
That's what he was known as, the Coos.
Here comes the Coos.
If you look at all the historical
Hail Coos!
Hey Coos! Cousin!
Cousin, let's go bowling. God damn it.
Alright, let's go ahead and... Alright, you want to go through this?
You don't want to watch the rest of this?
Alright, yeah, I'll watch it.
We've already dedicated ourselves to halfway through this opening cutscene. There's still another, 30% or more. That is a lot of... Okay. Like, he is painting a freaking masterpiece with his fingers.
But yeah, Take-Two also is known for BioShock, Borderlands, Mafia, Max Payne, Midnight Club.
That's a lot of big names.
Red Dead, and like WWE 2K, and I'm sure a bunch of others as well.
Well, I know that, despite all that, this is mostly still a Sid Meier production. He was. He was still kind of in charge of pretty much all the development of it.
That was just the publisher. He's definitely the head developer and still like the head honcho of it all.
Do that one. That one. My finger is pointing.
Let me think about it. I'm gonna point to my right.
I want the red one.
And I want you to interpret what that means.
You're pointing at the wall, sir.
But what does it mean? Invade China?
China invasion? Bingo.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. I just painted the sickest goddamn mural. But let's move on anyways.
No, the painting quality is on his head. Inside it's just a bunch of sticks with circles and shit.
It's just a bunch of stick figures. Something that I would draw.
With your left hand.
With my left hand.
Upside down. There we go. Civilization Revolution.
I put a lot of hours into this game. This was my first Civ. I think I mentioned that during Civ 5, but this is what got me into it. This is the game that came after Civilization 4. So we're gonna go through single player and start a new game. Single player. And we're just gonna go with King difficulty, normal. And now we got our characters. There are 16. And I'll give a brief rundown on most of them, and then we'll choose. So we got the Romans here. They're good at spamming out Romans. They begin with a Republic Code of Laws that basically is a government type technology. You start with that, and you can build settlers for a single population unit. That means when you're building cities and when you're building settlers into cities, if you don't have Republic Code of Laws, if you had a city size of 8, it goes down to 6. If you had Republic Code of Laws, it goes down to 7. So it's a good solid one to start with. You can also see there's half-price roads, which makes it really easy to connect all the various cities you're building.
I want to say him and Cleopatra were actually the ones that were like the demo people.
Yeah, he was.
Isn't that how you first got into it? Like
this is how I played the demo. It was in 2007 or so, I think it was. So that's like over 10 years ago. I was just little baby Nick. And baby Nick built nukes. In the demo, you could get far enough if you built it right, and so
I think it was like 1280 or something like that before.
Cleopatra, I'd personally say she isn't as good. By the way, I have kind of my own opinions, and I kind of looked online and I saw there's an actual dedicated community. There's a leaderboard and everything, and people who know this game.
Just hundreds of thousands of undercover like Civilization Revolution fans.
For every asshole like me who's like, yeah, I know this game and I know some of the ins and outs, there's that guy who knows every single thing, and he gets like tanks before like it hits 100 AD, and he
has a spreadsheet in Excel dedicated to this game.
No, you see, if you do it like this, you get a 2% less production overall. That's not me. I'm a solid player. I'll put it at that.
You go like, yeah, this is pretty cool, and this happens sometimes.
I put my time into this, just like Civ 5. So you got Cleopatra, 1 food, and trade from the desert. I actually finished my most recent game with her. She's okay. Part of it depends on which ancient wonder you start. You see, that's one of her things. Knowledge of irrigation's kind of crappy. Rifle movement's kind of crappy. Caravan isn't really that great, so she's okay. Greeks are pretty solid. They begin with democracy, and democracy gives you 50% extra trade, and that can be either science or gold. In this game, you can switch between the two.
Is there actually much trade that goes on between it, or is it like I know you're probably mostly violent, going no, take over everything?
It automatically does trade, so okay. you generate like products and stuff.
So
Stop
waving
at
income?
Me.
It's passive income.
Yeah, it's passive income. You don't really need to interact with others. You can build like you see on the bottom there. You can build caravans and ship them to other players and get money. You can't really. You can also buy tech from others, but I never really bothered with that. But you can do that. I never really bother interacting with the other computers too much, honestly. So, medieval, you get more great people, half-cost library, which is pretty good. Food from seas is really good, so Greeks are pretty solid. They also start game with a courthouse, which like doubles the amount of space you can work on your city. So, Greeks are a good starting single city. It's all about building a tower. You got Isabella, she's a pretty solid exploration cache, so if you land... Certain tiles give you bonus cash, so if you land on it, it gives you like 15 gold for discovering the something forest, and then you can name it whatever you want. And they get 50% gold production later on, and extra production from hills, so they're pretty solid. Bismarck is interesting. I haven't really played with them too much. By the way, it shows kind of how I've played. If you see the little gold circles, it shows I've beat that sort of victory, technology victory with Isabel. So I played this.
So you only do war with the Germans?
On Xbox 360, I played this game a lot more, so it doesn't have all of my all the times I played the game. But so they're pretty good. They get that 1+ production. Okay, I'll speed it up a little since if I went too into detail, be here forever. Let me see. She has the food from plains. That's okay. She gets a map that's meh. Mao is actually considered one of the top tier highest guys because of that population bonus for cities. You plant a new city down and you get an extra pop for that. And also half-cost library is pretty nice. Kind of like how the Greeks had it.
Didn't he have a whole thing where his like rule destroyed a shit ton of knowledge? And
yeah, but
it was all about destroying.
The Chinese are really smart.
Okay.
And so you got Abraham Lincoln, which is 2% interest on gold, which I always think it was trash. I'm not sure if like the pro experts know it any better, but it seems like trash. Rushing units at half price though is pretty good. It's the only civilization with that boost. From planes, factories, triple production instead of double, because that's what it usually gets. And starts with a great person. They're okay. They also get a lot of strong modern technology.
Well,
Sherman tanks, flying fortress, and Mustang fighters. Those are all your strongest modern.
Aren't they kind of weak because their special units are all like late game stuff?
They're good late game, but yeah, their rushing ability makes them pretty solid at medieval age. You got Tokugawa. He has food from the seas. That you get your science from the sea regions. Sometimes you get them from deserts, but mostly you're going to get it from the sea regions. So this allows him to take away focus from plains and focus on growth on seas and still getting science. You got Napoleon, which a lot of people don't really like, and I can kind of see why.
He's really short.
He's short. Moving on.
That's all we're gonna say about that.
Gandhi, a lot of people consider probably the worst. Some people say they've played a lot with him, but Gandhi is one of the worst. Arabs are pretty solid because they get mathematics, which leads to catapults. Mathematics, it's a slightly later tech. It's like the 14th or 15th tech on the tree, and so you can actually get it really early with these guys, and catapults will wreck cities, so that actually makes them really good medieval tier group. Montezuma, units heal after combat, which is really nice. Temples produce some science, half-price roads, 50% gold production. It's one of the higher tiers. You got god tier Shaka Zulu, who versus computers decimates the game. You saw on this that I've only played really king difficulty. I've actually beaten God, Deity, whatever, Super Deity difficulty with Shaka Zulu, and all you do, if you see there on his ancient ability, +1 warrior movement,
just Zerg.
blitzkrieg the shit out of people, and you will almost guaranteed at least take out 1, maybe 2, sometimes even 3, but they're freaking amazing. They got that blitzkrieg. After that, they get rapid city growth, which is amazing. I think only they have. They get 50% gold production, which is also really amazing. And the only thing that's not really that amazing is the half-cost rifleman.
What about their special units?
They get the MP warriors, which I'm not really sure what exactly the difference is. But they also start with the overrun, which is if you... I'm not exactly sure what it means when it says that, but basically if your unit has 7 times the attack as an opponent's defense, you'll instantly kill him without taking any damage. Genghis Khan is almost widely considered the worst. There is... I know on the leaderboards at some point there was a guy who was like top 100 with Genghis Khan, but for the most part, almost everyone considers him garbage. The reason why is when you conquer barbarian villages, in this game you conquer, they're gone forever. Unlike Civ 5 where they'll constantly spew out of ass into nowhere. So after you conquer a village, it starts as like 1 population, which is a severe handicap, and they're awful. And usually conquering the villages give you like extra gold, science, maps, all sorts of beneficial things. They don't get that. They just get a shitty one-size city. So it's pretty much a hindrance for them. So they're god-awful. Elizabeth is pretty solid. She's got longbow archer defense. It makes her solid tanking. Naval support is double. Basically, later on when you get ships, half of the attack of ships gets added to like combat. I believe it was half. So if you have combat happening on the coast and you have like galleons by the coast, half of the galleons combat will be added to your units fighting on the coastline. And so that is doubled. So you'll actually get full combat support from, I believe full combat support from ships. All right, and that's the 16 civilizations. And we're gonna go ahead and... Did you have any preference, TJ?
Do you want to do random and we'll see what we get? Or do you want to start with a certain one?
I kind of wanted to make communist Americans. I think I'm gonna make communist Americans. We're gonna go with Abraham Lincoln.
Notorious communist.
I mean, the funny thing about it is their last ability where they get... Okay, they have this thing. I'm gonna ignore that thing. The last thing they have... Oh, we got a science guy. That's our money guy. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I saw that they start with a great person, it says.
Yeah, so I think the best guy to get would have been a production guy to half the cost of building things. But money guy isn't bad. Money is really good in this game. So let me see. They put me here in a pretty solid place. There's a little river over there.
Only 1 way of entry, so that's actually pretty good defensive-wise.
Yeah, I'm kind of in my own personal enclave area. I got forest, which will produce wood or production to build things. Hills will also produce it, but to start off with, they're terrible at production. Those are plains, so they'll produce 2 food. Well, I'll just build a city and show it. So let's see. Do I want to move at all, or is this going to be fine?
You got a bunch of apples right there to the north.
This will be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and build here and go with the default. I'm not gonna be super nitpicky about what I do. And we're not gonna add 50 gold. That'd be the stupidest thing possible. We're gonna get a permanent 50% bonus to gold production. Which
Are you sure you don't want to waste your great person so early?
I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that. So we're gonna start with warrior production. Let's see. And oh my god, yeah. So Washington at. We'll go to the tech tree real quick.
Who was the great person that you got?
Fuck. It was Tipu Sultan, and I can't recall who that is.
I'll look him up.
Go ahead and look him up. Bring some knowledge into this game.
I'll enlighten the shit out of y'all.
Enlighten some people. I have some Greek knowledge, but I forgot like 90% of it. Some of it is still there though.
Tinkering around.
Yeah, it's just binging around on the back of my head. So you got your text here. One of the important things is you saw that there were different eras of bonuses. The first bonus you get, when you get to the medieval age, is at 5 technologies. So if I get this first tree and pick up 1 on the next tree, I'll be able to rush units at half cost, which is pretty fucking great, especially considering I got a money producer, so I'll be turning in cash and I'll be able to spit out units. But I kind of want to make communist Americans, which is late game. And you know what? I also kind of want to make a science victory with communist Americans. But we'll see. We'll play it by ear on that. So I'm probably going to start with Alphabet, just so I can get a library which will double science production. I don't think we're going to have too many problems with any of this. Granaries would take too long to build. Yeah, I think I'll go with Alphabet.
Okay, so Mr. Tipu Sultan was the ruler of the kingdom of Mysore. He was basically a major economic powerhouse. What he did is he established Mysore as a major economic power and made it have some of the world's highest wages and living standards in the late 18th century.
Where is Mayapur?
I have no clue where it is. Present day Bangalore.
Bangalore, not Bangladesh.
Bangalore.
So I went ahead and switched it to it would have kept on producing warriors, but usually I'm fine with a single warrior. Since this is king difficulty, the NPCs won't be too aggressive to start with. They'll definitely get more aggressive as we go further on. My city just grew there. But to start off with, it won't be too bad. I think we'll start pricking up some science production now.
And I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Have you already stated what type of victory you're going for, or are you going to play it by ear?
I kind of want to go science victory.
To just start it off.
What? How the? Oh, they must be conquering that village right now.
That's Rome. You want to take them out early, or are you going to let them? Like, what's your strategy usually with early game stuff, or?
For most games, I'm usually pretty pacifist, unless other guys really start to get on my nerves.
Unless Gandhi starts going nuts.
It's been last time was actually the Americans who pissed me off, and I ended up nuking Washington.
So you want to become communist in order to get back at them?
Get back at the American myself?
Yes, obviously.
Oh, please don't die. I had 3 times their attack. Oh, come on. God, the fact that I took that much damage despite having 3 times attack is pretty annoying. I'm not sure how I discovered the Romans right now.
Well, you went to mountain range. Would that increase your vision by that much?
You can't stand on mountain ranges. You can go on hills, which increases your vision, yeah. I'm still not sure. I guess there's a unit somewhere. Oh, also, I actually should produce another warrior, because if I leave my city defenseless, unlike Civ 5, and I think that's part of the reason why I left it defenseless for a while. In Civ 5, you can leave your city, and for the most part, unless they start really building units... Okay, it's a caravan, that's not bad. Unless they really start building... And it actually blocked off my food production. Unless they start really sieging your city has its own defense. And... Oh god, I'm blanking. Tutor, help!
What have I helped
Say
you
something funny!
Something funny.
There you go.
Nailed it.
So yeah, in this game, cities, if you don't have any units there, they'll just blow through it. It's instantly captured. So you have to make sure you have someone standing on your city. Unlike before. Actually, in Civ 4, I think it was much the same. So on caravans, I'm actually probably going to use this caravan to explore more than anything else, because it has 3 movements, which is bananas, compared to my warriors, which have a single movement.
I didn't realize that Civilization Revolution only released 2 years before Civ 5.
Yeah, it was actually fairly new.
I thought Civ 5 was much later, or this was much earlier, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the cartoony graphics that kind of threw me, but...
Yeah, it makes you underestimate the game. But this game is pretty detailed. Alright, I'll have that guy defend, and this guy will be our exploration guy, in addition to caravan. I'll have this guy explore and try to wipe out any barbarian huts for their little boost, and this caravan unit explore. I could get a small gold boost if I actually sent them onto a city, but I'd rather get the pure exploration.
I didn't realize there was a second Civilization Revolution, but it looks like it was only for Android and PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, and it's pretty weird. I never really got it on the phone, so I'm not sure what that whole deal was about. Let's see, in 5 more turns, we'll get a science. And I guess we're fine where we're going. We'll just keep going. Do our exploration phase. Try to stay on top of hills. That way we get a little bit more exploration.
It's not a phase, Mom.
It is in this case.